This is your homework check for Wednesday, March 2nd. Tonight we are doing number lines with fractions. So we practice these in class. We're getting a little extra practice tonight. So I'm going to run through the 5 problems to show you what the number line should look like. So on the first one, you're dividing your number line into halves. The bottom number of your number line should be mixed numbers. And on the top, you are labeling as improper fractions. So in order to do this and be able to videotape it, I actually drew my number lines kind of tiny, and I'll just kind of walk you through. So below 1, so like this would be 0 on my number line, those numbers you can't really do a improper fraction with because they're less than 1. So you should have half, then 2 halves or 1, 3 halves, 1 1/2, 4 halves, 2, 5 halves, 2 1/2, 6 halves, 3, 7 halves, 3 1/2, 8 halves, 4. So that's your first one in halves, okay? All right, and remember as you're doing this, I know that in class today, a couple people were mixing up the improper fractions and the mixed numbers. Remember, the improper fractions are the fractions where the numerator, the top number's bigger, the denominator stays the same. The mixed numbers are the whole number with the fraction, okay? All right, number 2, you're dividing your number line into fourths and halves. You're numbering up to 4. You're circling all your fractions that are equivalent. So we did one similar to this in class the other day, and then we actually did this one. So remember when you divide it up, so on the fourths you have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 in between each whole number. So this is 0, this is 1, you have your fourths, and then the halves you can just put above, so you can just go 1/2 and put it right there with 2/4 and circle it. So, and that's going to be the case on every number. So here's 0 to 1, the 2/4 and half are circled. Here's 1 and 2, the whole numbers. 1/2 and 2/4 are circled. 2 and 3, 1/2 and 2/4 are circled. 3 and 4, 1/2 and 2/4 are circled. Okay. All right. 3. Okay. 3, you're dividing your number line into thirds and halves. Your number line should go up to 4, and you're putting your improper fractions above the number line. So here's all you're doing with thirds is it goes like 1/3, 2/3, and then the whole number is the whole. So 1/3, 2/3, this would be 3/3. I don't think I drew it quite perfect. And then the half would still go kind of in the middle. I think these should be kind of closer to the half if I drew it right. So that's the way that should look. And then remember the improper fraction, as I said a second ago, the numerator, the top number is bigger than the denominator. So you got 4/3 and then 5/3. And I almost labeled it like this. I did the thirds first, and then I did the halves. So like I broke it into 2 different pieces. And I know you're looking at like what I have as a final piece. But remember, it goes 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3, 10/3, 11/3. So I did all the thirds first. So when you have 2 different fractions that you're counting by, pick one to count by first, and then go back. And so like this is 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves. So that was 3. Okay. All right. 4, you have fourths and eighths. You're circling the equivalent fractions that you can find on your number line. This is a lot like this one we did with the halves and the fourths. So on fourths and eighths, I just did the eighths. Okay. And above, on the fourths, I just skipped every other line. And again, we did one similar to this the other day. And so like I have 1/4, 2/8, 2/4, 4/8, 3/4, 6/8. So I'm going along, and once you find the pattern, and we talked about this too, once you find the pattern of what's lining up with what fractions are equivalent, once you do it within one whole number, so you know, in between 0 and 1, 1/4, 2/8, 2/4, 4/8, 3/4, 6/8, it's going to hold true in all these. So between like 1 and 2, 1/4, 2/8, 2/4, 4/8, 3/4, 6/8, and then like between the 3 and the 4, same thing, 1/4, 2/8, 2/4, 4/8, 3/4, 6/8. So, you know, it kind of fits a pattern. Okay, last one for tonight. All right, your number line's up to 4. Divide the spaces into fourths. You're writing the mixed numbers above the line, the improper fractions below. Okay, well, I'll fix this one as I go. So on this one, all right, your mixed numbers are above. Remember, your mixed numbers are the whole number with the fraction. So once you're doing it by fourths, so you have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then the whole would be 4/4. Okay, so on the top, I'll show you this because I messed up the bottom, and I'll fix it here in a second. All right, so once you get above 1, then you do your mixed numbers. So you have 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4. Then you go 2 whole, 2 1/4, 2 2/4, 2 3/4, 3, which is a whole, 3 1/4, 3 2/4, 3 4/4, and then your 4. On the bottom, I goofed, so watch. So you have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. This is 4/4, and then you just keep counting. So this would be 5/4, 6/4, 7/4. If you want to label your whole numbers, you can put 8/4, 9/4, 10/4, 11/4. Again, if you want to label your whole numbers, 12/4, 13/4, 14/4, 15/4. So just like that. Okay? All right, I hope this helps, and I will see you back in class tomorrow.